Hello everyone, welcome to Tactica Imperialis and to today's video. Today is going to be another My Thoughts On. And today I wanted to pick a bit more of a news focus for My Thoughts On and look at the upcoming or already probably out releases that we have coming forward. That being Tooth and Claw, the new Space Wolves and Genestealer Cults box set, as well as the Space Wolves Codex, and the first look at what's coming for the Orks. So there's a lot to talk about and I'll try and cover all of it, but I don't know if I will get through all of it. So let's start at the top with what we've got coming out this week, either for pre-order or for full release. Let's have a look. This being a battle over the world of Imperialis. So I think these will be out on pre-order, just listening to the sort of wording they use. These will be out. So Tooth and Claw is a boxed game. We haven't had one of those since sort of the last box game. Forgebane, I think. Yes, Forgebane was the last one with the Necrons and the Adeptus Mechanicus. And this is the next one. It's Space Wolves and Genestealer Cults, which is a interesting pairing for a reason I'll get onto it in a moment. And it's Primaris Space Wolves, so you can see we've got some Aggressors, some Intercessors, and a Redemptor Dreadnought, as well as a new Primaris Battle Leader, squaring off with the Genestealer Cults, which include the Acolyte Icon Ward, the Banner Bearer, the Aberrants. We also have, we have a new Aberrant character, the Abominant. You have Pure Strain Genestealers, and then you have, they're not Acolytes or Neophytes, they're the super upgraded ones. Their names are a little bit later in this article. So, it's a nice mix of Genestealer Cults, because if you've got Deathwatch Overkill, this is basically everything else. Deathwatch Overkill came with Neophytes, Acolytes, a couple of pure strains, the Magus and the Patriarch and the Primus. This comes with basically everything else that was in the Genestealer Cults Codex. So if you own Deathwatch Overkill, this is the perfect complement to it. If you didn't get that, well, tough luck. So this is set as a lore article, which I'll go over very quickly in a moment, on the world of Imperialis, which is basically the last stop in the Dark Imperium before you get back into the main Imperium at the edge of a place called the Narkmund Gauntlet, which is, according to the lore, the only stable corridor through the Cicatrix Maledictum. Never mind brute forcing your way across through Sisters of Silence or some of the other mechanisms we've heard about. This is the only stable route across, apparently, and Imperialis is pretty much its last stop. So, you can't really lose this world, and now you've got a Genestealer Cult Uprising. Oh dear. So, a Primaris Battle Leader is what you get. This is the only Space Wolf unique character, because Primaris Space Marines are actually quite useful in that they have no chapter unique units whatsoever. So, if you want to reinforce your Ultramarines or Dark Angels or Blood Angels with this box set, and you have a Space Wolf friend that you can just fob off this Primaris Leader onto, you can do that. That's the beauty of Primaris. You can buy them for any Space Marine jats, and it makes no difference whatsoever. So for your any Space Marine player, it doesn't have to be Space Wolves, you can buy in on this box set, because apart from the Battle Leader, who looks very Space Wolfy, nothing looks very Space Wolfy. So you can just use the regular Marines, which is good. So this is a Primaris Battle Leader, which is, I don't think it's exactly the same as a Wolfguard Battle Leader. The way the lore article phrases it is, it's kind of like the equivalent to a Primaris Lieutenant. So it's equivalent to that for Space Wolves, and it will be interesting to see where they fit in terms of Wolfguard. Because lore-wise, the Wolfguard are the chosen champions of a given Wolf Lord who've done something or some things to impress said Wolf Lord. They have to have performed some serious feats of valor, skill on the battlefield and won the respect of their lord to get promoted. So, has this Primaris leader done that and then excelled in the Wolfguard to become a battle leader? Is there an entirely separate rank of Wolfguard for Primaris? Because a Primaris leader is not a Wolfguard battle leader. It's just going to be interesting to see how the Primaris have slotted in or not to Space Wolf structure. You also see the colours are of Ragnar Blackmane's Grey Company. That's interesting, I suppose. It just shows that various great companies are taking them on, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see how the Primaris fit in, and I'm looking forward to seeing that in the new Codex. As I said, you've got Intercessors, Aggressors, and a Redemptor Dreadnought. And as I said, nothing on here that I can see is wolfy at all. So it's not like there's specific wolf pelts or anything I can see on those models. So I think you'll be absolutely fine in just making them not Space Wolves. You might have to go for like the old talisman or something. But generally, I think you'll be fine. There's not much wolfy stuff on there, which is good. I like that. And on the Genestealer Cults side, the Baron's got a multi-part kit. Whether that's in here or separately, not sure. I think it is in here. And the Abominant is their new hero character. This is an aberrant cranked up to 11. As they say here, gifted gene matter from the Patriarch itself, and it's guided by that little familiar, which does have a name. It is designed to run forward and smash things in the face. Completely unsubtle with its power sledgehammer, which actually we got to see the data sheet for the Genestealer Cults in their later article. It's a real beat stick character, and I think that's something that Genestealer Cults really needed, was a beat stick character. Because the Primus is not a beat stick, it's kind of flimsy. The Magus is definitely flimsy, it's a psyker. A Patriarch is kind of punchy, but it's only going to go so far because it's a bit of a hybrid with psychic and melee. This is an all-out melee machine, and it will be tanky as well. This gives the Genestealer a real tanky leader who can also dish out a hell of a lot of punishment, if we get a quick look at its war scroll in a bit. I also have a brand new set of Aberrants, which is very, very nice. They are, I don't think I saw all of these in here, but Aberrants are good to see, and they look sufficiently horrifying, because I'm not a huge fan of Genestealer Cults. Rule of thumb, they're not really my thing. Tyranids are not really my thing. But I can say these models do their job. They're sufficiently terrifying. I approve. I don't say I'd like them because they're not my thing, but I approve of the design philosophy behind them. And then you've got the Acolyte Icon Ward and, what are they called? Hybrid Metamorphs. That's the word. The Metamorphs, I think, are sort of the last stage in evolution before you get back to pure strains in the cycle of Genestealer Cults, if I remember my lore correctly. So, as I said, this complements Deathwatch Overkill perfectly. You get everything else and some more Aberrants, which is nice, and some more pure strains, which is nice. So, it is a perfect fit if you have that box. If you don't, well, you'll need some troops, but Acolytes and Neophytes will be available, I'm sure. And we also get, perhaps more importantly, depending on who you are, Codex Space Wolves. Space Wolves are the last Space Marine faction to get updated. They might be the last no, they're not. They're one of the last Imperial factions to be done, and they're absolutely the last Space Marine faction to get done. So this book has been long, long overdue, given it's been, well, I suppose you count Deathwatch. It's been a long time since we had a Space Marine release, and I don't mind that. But the fact that we got Space Marines, Grey Knights, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, all before Christmas, and it's now August before we get the Space Wolves, it's a long time to wait, so sorry Space Wolf players that you've had to wait. But they are here now. Primaris get in, new lore, Wolfen Dreadnoughts are a thing. Right. So Dreadnoughts are susceptible to the Curse of the Wolfen. I mean, that makes sense, because Dreadnoughts are susceptible to the Black Rage and the Blood Angel, so why wouldn't they be susceptible to the Curse of the Wolfen? But, okay. It'll be interesting to see how they justify why this is only happening now, with the return of the Wolfen, and why they're allowed to go out and fight when before the Wolfen were basically shunned. And, yeah, interesting. Wolfguard Terminators also get Cataphractii and Tartarus pattern armor, just to bring them into line with everybody else. That's good, I approve of that. And we'll also get a bit of a look at some of the stuff later. I'm recording this in the morning before the Friday article comes out, and that is due to be on the Space Wolves, so I can't talk about that here. You've also got Collector's Edition, Standard Stuff, and some new Plague Marines. Because reasons. So let's keep going, and I realise that I'm going on a bit of a rush here to get through this. So let's go through a bit of a lore look. So this continues the story that began in Kill Team. Oh. So apparently Kill Team was set on Vigilus. Now I haven't bought Kill Team, none of my gaming group have bought Kill Team. So apparently this follows on from Kill Team. Okay, I approve. It's not completely standalone, I approve. That works. And it makes sense, there were Genestealer Cults in that, so that does kind of make sense. So, Vigilus. Situated on the far side of the Narcomound Gauntlet, the only stable route through the dreaded Cicatrix Maledictum, the strategic importance of Vigilus cannot be overstated. Vigilus comprises a number of continent-sized high-sprawls that in recent years have become filled to overflowing, with refugees seeking to escape the horrors besetting the walls of Imperium Nihilus. Each sprawl is protected by psychically charged Bastion-class force fields that render comatose any who would seek to breach them, enabling the defenders to slaughter them at leisure. This proved so effective that even when an Ork war smashed into Vigilus, the greenskins does not assail the hives, so took to seeking entertainment elsewhere by engaging in violent races across the open plains. We'll get to that. So, yep, there are Orks on this planet. That will probably fit into something later. However, these force fields began to experience glitches and eventually collapsed entirely, leaving the hive sprawls open, and the Orks through the force fields had other unforeseen consequences. The Claw of the Thirsting Worm, a Genestealer Cult. Oh yeah, Genestealer Cults, as always. So, the threat posed by the Ork war that attacked has directly forced the cult's hand. Their long-planned time to rise was still a few months off, so there's probably a hive fleet en route to this planet, given that they're only a few months away from rising up to prepare for a hive fleet. That's what Genestealer Cults do. But it's interesting that they had to do it now because the Orks are so dangerous. Despite initial successes achieved by roving kill schemes of Skitarii, that's the kill team box, these every attempt to track them down to their source met with failure. Assailed from without and within, they sent a desperate call, and in came the wolves. Strikeforce Ice Pelt from Blackmane's great company led by Haldor Ice Pelt, because of course naming conventions, and they are just gonna come down and smash stuff. That's pretty much what they're gonna do. And apparently this is also linked to the Stygius sector. That's in Imperium Nihilus. And the Imperium has had to retreat from the Stygius sector and has been overrun by forces of Tzeentch. The Space Wolves need a way out of there, so getting out through the Narcomound Gauntlet makes sense. So, more lore motivations for everybody to be here. I'm glad to see that. It's not just random throw stuff together, here we're going. So they've tracked them down because Space Wolves, and yeah, that's how it's going to be. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I realize I should sound more enthusiastic for this, but it's kind of two armies I don't really care about. I'm basically going to read the Space Wolf Codex for the lore, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to read it for lore and move on. And when Genestealer Cults get their codex, I'll do the same. I'll read it for lore, and then I'll move on. I don't care about these factions. I'm really sorry, I just don't. Space Wolves are interesting, but I've got 1,000 Suns bias from the Heresy, so don't care naturally. Genestealer Cults, Tyranids and stuff don't really bother me either. So it'll be a great box, and if there are armies that you care about, great. They're just not for me. However, we do get a look at their codices, and I'll try and be a little bit more interested and objective here. So, the battle trait for the Space Wolves, this is their chapter tactic, and it's a unique one. In any turn when a unit with this ability was charged, made a charge, or made a heroic intervention, you add 1 to hit rolls in the fight phase. Ow! That basically means your entire army hits on 2s in the first round of combat. Ow! That's powerful. It's not as powerful as maybe some others that might exist. I can't think of one in particular. But still, ow! In addition, characters can make heroic interventions, even if there are enemy units within 6, and they can move up the percentages as long as they end up nearest the enemy models. Yeah. That's gonna hurt. Space Wolves can play a gun line or play a melee army because they can just stand there, shoot, 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 get charged and hit on 2s. That's really dangerous. So you don't really want to charge them. Improved data sheets, as you might expect. So you buffed Logan Gunnar Stormrider with a 2+ save, and you can now add a close combat champion to the Great Company, whilst Murderbang has extra attacks. Yay. At first, before we got this article, I thought that the Wolf and Dreadnought might be a reworked Murderfang. I was wrong in that assessment, but it was an interesting thought for me to have. And the Primaris are slotted in properly with Primaris what? Primaris Wolf Lords. Right, let's have a talk. Right, let's have a talk. So, Primaris Wolf Lords, for that to happen, there has to be either new Primaris grade companies, which I don't think is happening, or a Wolf Lord has to have died, and a Primaris has to have worked his way up the company fast enough that the champions of that company, the Wolf Guard, will elect them as Wolf Lord. So either we have exclusive Primaris companies, which explains why I have Primaris Wolf Lords, who are just captains under new names, or a Primaris can work their way through the Wolf Guard faster than I think anybody ever. Now Blackmane perhaps accepted. Right. Okay. I mean, I know why it's there. It's there for gameplay reasons, but lore-wise, I need to see how that's justified. If it's separate companies, fine. If they've worked their way up to replace a dead Wolf Lord already, that's seriously impressive. And kind of puts Ragnar's record in jeopardy. Yeesh. But we also said about classic Terminator armor suits, they're back. We knew that. And Primaris Battle Leaders, which is the Wolfguard Battle Leader equivalent, which is fine. The Contemptor Dreadnoughts are also going into the book. That's nice. And here's a little look at the Wolfen Dreadnought. So turn of 7, 8 wounds, 3 up save. Comes with a Fenrisian Great Axe and a Great Wolf Claw and a Storm Bolter. So the Great Wolf Claw is +4 strength, 2 AP, 3 damage, rerolls to wound. Jesus Christ, that's strength 10 rerolling. And Fenrisian Great Axe has 2 weapon profiles that either -1 to hit, but strength 10, 3 rend, damage d6, or you can go to strength 6, 3 rend, 1 damage, but you roll 2 dice for each attack. If you're in the first round of combat, you're basically not -1 to hit, you're just hitting as normal thanks to your chapter tactic, so you'll be back to hitting on 3s. So I think the cleave mode is more powerful, because 4 attacks at damage d6 versus 8 attacks at damage 1. Admittedly, there's no damage overspill like in Age of Sigmar, but still that's pretty powerful, and the Great Wolf Claw is always going to be strong. You can replace either of them with a Blizzard Shield and Storm Bolter, so you can have the shields that the other Space Wolf Dreadnoughts have. That's going to be interesting as well. And it may replace any Storm Bolter with a Heavy Flamer, as you might expect. And a whole host of Space Marine units have been ported over. So the Space Wolves have lost their unique flavour. Kind of. So Landspeeder Storms, Scout Bikes, the Stormhawk Interceptors, the Hunters, and the Stalkers, which are all units that came out between the last Space Wolf Codex and the last Space Marine Codex, I guess, have all been ported over. Which, I get it. It means that you're not being gimped on options if you play Space Wolves, but at the same time, it takes away some of that unique flavour that the Space Wolves had that made them so different. And I think that's a problem somewhat, that Space Marines have become a little bit homogenized again, in that they're absolutely identical except for 1 or 2 flavor units. This is particularly true for the Dark Angels, with the Blood Angels, because all they've got is Death Company, Sanguinary Guard, and Sanguinary Priests. And that's about it. They've got, they've got Librarian Dreadnoughts and the Furiosa Dreadnoughts and the Death Company Dreadnoughts. But I do worry that the Space Marines now are all the same options with a bit of extra flavour for the non-Codex units. Which means that the Codex units just have less options, because you no longer have it that if you pick a Codex army, you have more options but no unique flavour, whereas if you play the unique non-Codex chapters, you have some less options but more unique options of your own that give you more flavour and versatility. I do worry that that's a bit of a problem, but I know why they've done it. I understand. There's kind of an option both ways. We'll be having a look at the strategies and warlord traits and stuff in a bit, but that's an interesting look nonetheless. And on the other hand, you have the Genestealer Cults. We've not got their Codex yet. That's not going to be out for a while, but we get a look at the Abominants, guided by Mindworm Familiars, aka Baby Genestealer. Cute. Seriously, this model is horrifying. It's supposed to be, but my god, is it absolutely horrifying. And, as I say, I don't like them, but I approve. I really, really do. And it hits like a bloody brick. We don't know how tanky it is, we haven't got its full data sheet, but Power Sledgehammer, double strength, 3 AP, damage D6 with a minimum of 3. So it's not D3 plus 3, or D3 plus 2 as it would be. It's damage D6, but 1 or 2 counters 3. So it's damage 3 to 6. Ouch! That's going to hurt. And then it's got its Rending Claw, so that's just standard stuff. Effective strength of 12. Okay, so it's strength 6. That's good to know. It's going to hurt. But the problem it's going to have is I don't know how many attacks it's got. Which means that because wounds don't overspill like they do in Age of Sigmar, you can tar pit it quite easily, I suspect. You could tank it with a Horde Guardsman. And that is a problem I think the 40k's got. There's no damage overspill. Does cause issues. But I suppose we shall see how it pans out and whether it's a usable option. You can also mess with Psychos thanks to the Familiar, and it's a bite-sized Carnifex. And it buffs Aberrants, which is obviously useful. Each unmodified roll of a 6 in the fight phase of friendly Aberrant units have 2 hits instead of 1. This will discount the problem of, I don't have enough attacks. Well, I roll some 6s, all is good. And power picks for the Aberrants have also been reworked, so that when they make an attack with the power pick, which has not changed his stats in any way, you also get to make 1 Rending Claw attack, allowing the Aberrants to basically double their attack output. Not their damage output, but their attack output. And if you can roll some 6s on top of that, then you get even more hits. So, pretty good, I will say. And the Icon of the Cult Ascendants that you can use for your Acolyte's Icon Ward gives +1 strength for infantry units within 6 inches. Ow! That's going to really hurt. Ow. Ow. That's going to hurt my soul. But we shall see. And I think that's... Is that everything? Yeah, that's everything. So yeah, Tooth and Claw is on pre-order this weekend. So... Tooth and Claw is going to be a very, very good box set. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt. It's going to do a lot of good things for Space Wolves. It's going to do a lot of things for Genestealer Cults. And I honestly kind of can't wait to see it. Because it will give us a load of new lore about Imperium Nihilus, the gateway to Imperium Nihilus, as well as how the Space Wolves are getting on in their codex, and how the Genestealer Cults fare when they get their codex, which is obviously important. There was going to be one minor complaint when I saw Tooth and Claw, because we were promised that the next 2 codices to be released for 40,000 were Space Wolves and Orks. And then all of a sudden we get Genestealer Cults in a box game and I'm like, what? Why? Why are we getting Genestealer Cults in a box game when Orks are next? Well, there was a reason for that. As we've seen, Vigilus has got Orks on it and they're going racing, and that leads to, well, just a sheer brilliant little trailer. I'm not going to show you the trailer, but just because it will just lag really, really hard on my system. But we got to see a first look at a new Ork model 21 years in the making. Behold, the new Ork War Buggy. This model is so pretty. And you'll forgive me that I've not been super kind to Space Wolves and Genestealer Cults throughout this video. I apologise for that. That's just my taste. Orks, they're my thing. And yeah, I can't wait. This War Buggy looks utterly, utterly gorgeous. And I really can't wait to get my hands on it. After waiting not so patiently, Orks can look forward to it. And we also know that there is to be an event called Orktober. Personally, I prefer January from 2009 because I'm old, alright? But Orktober, that means that that's when we'll be getting a proper look at the Orks, which means that probably we'll get Age of Sigmar in September, and then Orks come in October. I can't wait. This is also part of something called Speed Freaks, you can see here up at the top of the screen. Speed Freaks. This, we don't quite know what this is yet. As far as we're aware, it's a boxed game racer, which, spiritual successor to Gorka Morka, question mark? I actually went to look up what Gorka Morka was, because whilst I've heard a lot about Gorka Morka, I never really knew what it was as a game. And I've looked it up, it's a skirmish game, but with orcs and with vehicles. So, is this to be a sort of spin-off successor to Gorka Morka? We're not sure yet. Either way, it's orcs, it's a race game, by the probable looks of it. I really can't wait to see what wacky races style things you get out of the orcs. Shout out if you remember Wacky Races. That was That was a really fun old TV show. So I'm looking forward to this, and I can't wait to see what comes in the Ork Codex that will undoubtedly be out in October. What are we going to get? Well, we're going to get clan tactics, if nothing else. And I can't wait to see what they are, because you can finally put some flavour in. We've been asking for this since we got chapter tactics back in 5th edition. We've been asking for bloody clan tactics, and we're going to finally get them, which is great. What units are going to be added? What's going to change? What's going to disappear? We don't know. Named characters: Grotsnik, Gazkul, Zagstruck, Snickrock, Badrock. We've got a lot of named characters. But what about, for Speed Freaks, want to bring back Wazdaka? That would be awesome. I'm biased because Wazdaka's always been my favourite, but come on! Wazdaka, please, people. Or are they going to rework some units? How are they going to be reworked? I honestly can't wait. And I'll be honest, I've not played Warhammer 40,000 in 2018. Genuinely. I've not played it. I've had no real care for playing 40k because while I was in France I had my Age of Sigmar and that was it. And then since I've come back, AOS 2's come out and I've been really hyped up about playing a lot of Age of Sigmar, and I've done so. But I haven't been super hyped to go and play 40k. And this Ork Codex might be finally what I need to drive me back into 40k. The Tau Codex didn't do that for me. It came out at a bad time because I was away and the Tau didn't get a huge amount of buffs. I still haven't actually gone and bought the Tau Codex. I've got a sentiment of just how little I've cared. But the Ork Codex coming out, Orks were my first army 10 years ago. This is my 10th year anniversary in the hobby. I've been playing, I got my first stuff in September 2008 with Black Reach. So this is my first army, it's my nostalgia fest, and I can't wait to get back into 40k. And hopefully this does it for me, and I really hope that it does. But I'm sure we'll see as October rolls around, and I'm sure I will bring you updates on that going forward, because it's Orks, and I actually care about Orks. So, there you go. That is my thoughts on Tooth and Claw and Orktober, the new Ork war buggy, which looks utterly gorgeous, and the upcoming Ork Codex, and I'm sure we'll be along not too far off in October. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I do apologise again for maybe not being as hyped up about the new stuff as I could have been. Mainly because, one, I don't care much about Space Wolves and Genestealer Cults, and two, because I haven't been playing 40k much. So I'm interested in it for the lore, but for the models and the rules, not so much. But that's just me, and hopefully Orktober will be enough to get me back into the hobby when it rolls around. So, thank you very much for watching. Let me know anything in the comments below, and let me know anything you'd like me to cover in future, my thoughts on. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Tactica Imperialis, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.